Hey everyone, Jeff here from Films at Home, and today we're going to review the latest from Steven Spielberg on 4K Ultra HD. Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to the channel for this video. Today we're going to be reviewing the 4K release of the Fabelmans, out on February 14th from Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment, the production arm for Steven Spielberg. Now I'll talk briefly about the movie itself and my thoughts on that and what happened with this movie. I'll also cover the 4K visuals, we'll talk about the audio as well, and the packaging and special features to let you guys know if this one's worth picking up on 4K. So to kick things off, the Fabelmans comes here to 4K from Universal just a few months after it was released to theaters, and this really is the story of Steven Spielberg's life. Now the movie's about 2.5 hours long, and it definitely drags at a couple of spots, but I think it's because it's really this love letter to himself and to his childhood that Spielberg wanted to create. And so you're going to get really deep into some moments that were probably super important to him, maybe don't mean as much to the audience, but this was his movie. This was him wanting to recreate his childhood and tell his story. So you have to give him a little leeway, and he is going to get a little bit creative and a little bit long with some of the moments. Overall, I really liked the movie. I thought it was pretty fascinating, just the way that sort of he was raised and his family dynamic, and apparently according to Steven Spielberg himself, most of this is pretty true. This is all based on real life events, and I just thought it was super cool to see how he grew up and being so invested in film and all the unique little practical effects and tricks he used even as a kid to make these really cool little film projects. I thought the cast was really great too. Michelle Williams was great, Paul Dano was great, Seth Rogen was really good in this. I really enjoyed his character, and then Gabriel LaBelle, he plays Sammy Fabelman. He was great. He did a really great job, and Judd Hirsch has a lot of great moments in this as well. So I see why it got so much buzz. I know it's been nominated for a couple of Oscars, but unfortunately this was sort of a box office bust, I would say. It had a $40 million budget, only made back about 26 million worldwide, but I don't think that really matters because I'm sure Steven Spielberg invested a lot of his own money in this, and this was clearly a passion project for him, and it comes across that way, and I don't think anyone expected maybe this to do huge numbers. I think they probably expected a little bit better from a Spielberg film, but it's really, really well done, and it's one of those movies that unfortunately just probably wouldn't perform very well in today's box office that's so focused on sequels and the next, Marvel, DC superhero movie and all the franchises. But I think it's really well done, and it's worth watching, and if you have an interest in film at all, this is really, really cool. Now the visuals on this is a 35 millimeter movie, so he shot this movie all on film, and it got finished with a 4K digital intermediate. So what that means is, unlike some other new movies from 2022, 2023 that you'll be watching on 4K, this is going to have a pretty heavy grain. It has that 35 millimeter grain. It has a very cinematic look and feel, which is obviously intentional. He's trying to bring you back into this time period where film was king, and there's a lot of moments not only in 35 millimeter but also in 8 millimeter and 16 millimeter where they're showing some of the shots that Sammy is taking throughout the movie, and so you'll see the resolution will drop there a little bit, but even 8 millimeter and 16 millimeter can look fantastic on 4K, and it's really, really well done. So it looks great overall. I really love the way it looks. It's a real throwback. Some of the scenes are super sharp, some of them are a little bit softer, but the colors are excellent. Really dark blacks, inky blacks, really great color throughout, almost like a Technicolor feel at times. It has that color of film. It's not going to be the brightest, most in your face. It's not going to match up to the latest Marvel movie or the latest animated movie. It's not going to be that bright, but it has this great just 1960s, 1950s cinematic feel to it that I really enjoyed. So I think, if you're expecting the highest quality of 4K and, digital clean picture, you're not going to get that here. But if you have a real appreciation for movies shot on film, you're going to love this one. My only criticism here is that because it's a long movie, it's a 4K digital intermediate, 35 millimeter, there's a lot of data there, and the grain probably could have been a little bit tighter and a little bit finer detailed if they didn't have to compress it as much. You only have 100 gigs to work on the disc, and they included special features in the 4K disc which took up some space. So, you know, if they could have had a larger disc or something, or maybe there was some better compression technology available, that would have been great. I think this movie would have looked absolutely amazing. It looks great on its own, but some of the shots can be a little bit soft at times, but it's really not a huge complaint at all. I think it looks fantastic overall, and it is reference quality if you're looking for that 35mm look. Now, the audio on this is a Dolby True HD 7.1, so no Atmos, but the 7.1 True HD is the source for Atmos. That's the basic base level of all Atmos tracks, and it sounds great. I don't know that Atmos would have really added much here. There are some pretty exciting moments when he's doing some of his filming and some of his projects as a kid, but most of this is dialogue and score driven, and it sounds great. I had no complaints at all. Dialogue was very clear. The score sounds fantastic, and any of the actual like special effects or any of the sort of louder moments, everything was very well balanced. In fact, I reviewed Black Panther Wakanda Forever before watching this, and I had to turn my volume back down to the reference level, so it was mastered at a very clean level, and I think it sounds great. You're not going to have any issues here, and I don't really know that Atmos would have added much, so I have no complaints there. Now for the packaging, you get this cool little slip cover. This is sort of what they've been using for theatrical artwork as well. Same on the inside. Popping it open, you're going to get your Blu-ray disc and your 4K. The 4K disc has some artwork, the Blu-ray does not, and you also do get a digital copy which will redeem in 4K. Now the special features, there are 3 features. There's one called The Fabelmans, A Personal Journey, which is like 10 or 11 minutes long. Spielberg dives into the production of the movie. It's a really nice look. Family Dynamics is a really cool look into the movie as well. And then Crafting the World of the Fabelmans is another nice behind the scenes. And Spielberg is pretty heavily involved with them, and it's really cool to see his process, especially making a movie like this, which is so personal to him and is a love letter to his life. So overall, I do think The Fabelmans is best watched on the 4K format. When you've got 35mm and a 4K source, no reason to buy the 1080p Blu-ray there. Get the highest quality, get the HDR, get the Dolby Vision, and go to 4K so you get that best quality and the highest resolution you can for this movie. I do think that the Blu-ray release will probably be a little bit grainier and probably would turn some people off. You're going to want the 4K to get the best look and feel for this film, and the audio isn't going to change any of that. The special features are the same. So the real reason to upgrade is because you've got 35mm, you've got a 4K digital intermediate. That's a perfect recipe for a great 4K picture. So if you want to pick this one up, I'll put the link down in my description. It's definitely worth watching, and it's definitely worth getting on 4K. I'd much prefer this over a 4K digital stream as well, because I think those streams are going to struggle with the compression and the grain of this movie. So definitely opt for the 4K disc if you can. That link's down there, and that supports me, so I appreciate it. As always, thank you for coming to the channel and watching this review. That's great. That's the best way to support me. Also, make sure you like the video. Let me know in the comments if you've seen The Fabelmans or you plan on picking this up on 4K. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you follow me on social media. All the links are in the description below, as well as links to all my partners and different discounts from physical media and home theater partners, where you can get yourselves a little bit of a deal and support my channel. So I appreciate that too. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and stay healthy out there, and I will talk to you all soon.